Good evening. It is Tuesday, September 5th, 2017. My name is Jacob.
And I'm Danielle.
And we are the Proteus Podcast. Ideas in all shapes and forms.
Hello, Jake.
Hello, Danny.
I was at a wedding all weekend.
How was that?
Uh,
Was it just like a wedding to you?
The groom's father provided pre-mixed vodka lemonades.
Oh my, that seems dangerous.
And pre-mixed Manhattans that he brought to the venue in casks.
In casks of Manhattans?
Yeah, like miniature casks of Manhattans.
For the truly bold alcoholic, the cask.
Yes. So this wedding was kind of interesting because like the bride side is very religious, and I honestly feel like the groom side a bunch of stoners.
It'd be a fantastic combination for later on in life.
Yeah, and I believe that the mother of the bride was very upset that there was so much alcohol, and was probably really upset that pretty much all the groomsmen were drunk by the time the wedding started.
That's a bad way to do a wedding.
But, people had a good time.
No, that's true.
It wasn't
At least
terrible.
everyone had a good time and there were no fistfights.
Yeah, and it was before all this smoke came into the region, so...
because half of Canada is burning.
Well, this is actually
so on
from
and so forth.
closer. This is from, south of us, I think, we have wildfires. Like, it's close enough that there's ash falling from the sky.
That's awful.
It is.
I imagine the industrial yeah, trying to make some kind of smart-ass comment about the people that make laundry soap being excited. It's not really working.
Yeah. But the view was amazing. It was at Port Campbell, which is a very gorgeous, picturesque location. It's a small town that has approximately 1.5 blocks to it. Knick-knack stores, vintage things. You know, like the vintage.
It's the kind of town you have a wedding in.
Yeah, it's like in like the vintage stores that you walk in, you're like, holy cow! I believe my grandmother has all this stuff.
And she was probably the last person to actually buy something here.
Right. So that happened.
Right.
That's what happened in my life.
Well, I've been working very hard, but I have been highly amused to hear about a particular company shutting down.
No.
Juicero, the maker of the now infamous $400 juicer, is shutting
down. And they
down.
also had like it was a subscription service for the juice packs.
Let's go over this real quick for those of you who don't know what in the blazes we're talking about. Juicero is this company that came out with this countertop cold press juicer. It's this gargantuan, bigger than a coffee maker machine by a factor of 1. It's smaller than a large microwave, bigger than a coffee maker. Cumbersome, to say the least, right? This machine cost you $400. But to use it, you had to buy a subscription to no less than 4 pouches of juice a week at approximately $5 to $7 per pouch, which they would mail you, which had a RFID and /or QR code on them that you had to scan on the juicer to be able to put them in the machine to get the machine to squeeze the juice out into your glass. It's supposed to be macerated fruit in there, to get this cold pressed juice. Very fresh and healthy and full of fiber. So here's where things went sideways real quick.
That was $400, and you had to pay $28 a week.
$28 some odd dollars a week. The problem that they found very quickly is someone noticed that you could squeeze the bag by hand with your bare hands and get the juice out.
Yeah.
Now, here is where else this problem went sideways on them. One of my favorite people on YouTube, AVE, took a Juicero juicer apart, right? Because this is what he does. He takes tools apart, sees how they work, puts them back together, and then tests them out, right? The parts that go into the Juicero juicer, they were probably losing $400 a juicer on their $400 juicer. It is the most incredibly overbuilt, over-engineered, and over-manufactured piece of hardware that has been presented to the American public in the last half century.
Even more so than the Prius?
Even more so than the Prius. This thing is a juicer, and it has the bearing out of a semi in it. Like, a wheel bearing out of a semi is part of this thing. Like, it is insanely overbuilt for a device that to squeeze juice out of pouches you can squeeze with your hands. So not only were they losing money on every juicer they made by any stretch of the imagination, hoping to recoup it with you paying them $30 a week for juice pouches. Yeah, there's not a lot of good business acumen going into this. Not even good engineering going into this.
So this was originally a Kickstarter, wasn't it?
I think. I'm not entirely sure.
Like, I'm pretty sure the Juicero was a Kickstarter. I'm like, Juicero Kickstarter. Yeah, here it is. The Juicero. Juicero.
Juicero. I like to say it with a Spanish accent. Juicero.
Yeah, it was Juicier is what it was called when it was Kickstarter, and then the company was like Juicero.
Yeah.
They raised a total of £579,000.
This thing absolutely, though, could be a cautionary tale to everyone ever doing anything in terms of business. Because they effectively created a product for a market that wasn't there, that didn't exist, because most people that like juice already own a juicer, and just feed it an entire sack of oranges every morning. And it's mildly inconvenient to clean, is, the thing. So like, oh, well, this will make you juice and you don't have to clean it. We're going to dice it up and put it in a bag for you. Right.
And evidently, in its original design, like on the Kickstarter, you could fill the bag yourself.
And that would have been fine. Dice it up, put it in the bag, it crushes it. And then you're kind of wondering, well, what's the bag for? If I just had a hopper and a lid I can close and it could crush it and just rinse it out.
Dude, you should see the graphics they have on their Kickstarter page for this.
Step by step, they kept adding things that nobody was asking for until you had a useless product. And then, of course, they shot themselves in the foot by, making a product. It's like, oh, we're going to basically juice your juice for you and then mail it to you in a bag, is effectively what happened at the end. And then the machine itself is just a masterwork in how to not engineer to a price point. It is. Yeah. You would probably, this is not normally your thing, but you'd probably still be amused by this video that AVE put out taking this thing apart. Because it is just shockingly beautiful piece of engineering. It is the way every engineer wants to build something. Just the best pieces of everything went into this. All the best hardware went into this machine. And the plastic parts are immaculately made. It is ridiculous.
So it makes you think, though, since it was a Kickstarter to start with, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder if maybe that's what this was. It was like an engineer trying to do like their dream project. And then it
kind of is. But he's definitely a young engineer because he hadn't been learning how to, okay, this is what it's got to do. This is what it takes to do it. Now, where can we start shaving things off to make this not be ridiculous?
Right.
Because it's amazing the amount of machining, the work that goes into making one of those juicers is shocking. And as a person that likes to make things, you look at that and you're like, oh, that is amazing. Why the hell would you do that? Using a $50 part where a $10 part will do.
Hey Jake.
Yes.
More interestingness about the juicer.
Oh, indeed.
And the Kickstarter. The people that backed it haven't gotten their juicers yet.
What? I believe that might be considered the irony being so palpable you could cut it with a knife.
They posted 3 days ago that they're targeting shipment in 4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks to get our discontinued juicer. Ha! Now, the real question is with where the company's basically going away, and apparently they're offering refunds on the juicers. You can get your $399 back for this thing if you want.
Yeah.
But this is an internet-connected juicer. It's entirely possible they could push out a firmware update so that you could use your overpriced juicer with the not RFID juice bags that someone else was making. You know?
Yeah.
Like, if they could do that, as in their death throes, someone push out a software update to make it where people can still use their overpriced hunk of metal. Or underpriced hunk of metal, honestly.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I'd say that the Juicero is definitely
Definitely gone.
definitely gone. Now, let me ask you about this. This is it's in the same vein of what I think was a bad idea to start with.
Okay.
But it hasn't happened, and kind of goes close to our wheelhouse of movies and whatnot. And I don't want to dig too much into it, but
Okay.
the new Marvel TV show, The Inhumans. Are you aware of it? I hear typing.
No, I'm peripherally aware
All right,
of
so,
the Inhumans.
The first episode, 2-hour event,
Mm-hmm.
is only going to be seen in IMAX.
What? Why?
That
Hang on.
is
Whoa. Stop the truck. Back up. Let me off.
Back
I want
up,
off the
back
planet. I want stop the planet. I want off. Okay, I'd seen the trailers for this. I've seen a trailer for this now that I see the screen cap. It looked really bad. Honestly.
You know, and honestly, it feels like a misstep. Like the entire show feels like a misstep.
It really does.
It's. I don't even.
I don't know
know
if it's some of the casting. I can't quite put together what my problem with it is.
So, like, the idea behind it is that the Inhumans that you were seeing in Marvels of S.H.I.E.L.D., they're part of a race of human-like Inhumans that the majority of them have moved to the dark side of the moon. And they're in a hidden moon base on the moon. And these people have a very high-level society, and their debate, and this happens all in the MCU, in the MCEU, okay? And they're all of a sudden worried that humans are going to find them, or some of them are worried. This is where the conflict comes from. The regular humans are going to find that they're hiding out on the moon, and they're going to come and destroy them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know that you guys are on the moon. Have you not seen everything that's been going on Earth in the MCEU? You guys could, like, have your moon base. It just seems very implausible that this group of people is going to be so petty. It's like, oh yeah, so there's this guy named Thanos who's going to try and take over the world, but if the humans find out that we're here, they're going to kill us all.
Yeah, like, the timing of it is bad because of that, where it's part of the EU. And just like the trailer I watched, it seems super unfinished.
Yeah,
that's a released trailer. It wasn't like any leaked anything. It was just like, this doesn't seem done.
Yeah,
like, this guy doesn't know his lines and isn't emoting.
Well, Black Adam is supposed to be mute. He's not supposed to speak.
No, like some other characters. It was just sort of had this weird feeling like this guy was not prepared for shooting this day. Like, I don't know if it's the way they're writing the character, but it comes off as like rushed and forced to me.
No, yeah, you're not wrong. And the early viewings of the first episode are not being treated they're being treated extremely coolly, I believe is the industry term, and I think it's also, I think this is a case of Disney overreaching. I think they're using
them releasing
this
the first part of it in IMAX like that is really being coldly reviewed, because people are saying, well, the reason the Marvel movies work is because they're good, but the show making me pay $20 to see 2 episodes of a TV show in a movie theater that's not the same quality of those movies is Marvel finally face planting in their own ego.
right. So yeah, I think that's gonna be a bad idea. I think that it's going to be the first real clear failure for Marvel in this new world.
Yeah,
because
it's rating horrendously badly on Rotten Tomatoes, so good, yay for that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, and I'm seeing more, like there's like ABC has a show that, not ABC, CBS, they have a show that the first episode. Oh goodness, I'm about to sneeze, Jake.
Oh my, mute yourself.
Oh, okay, I prevented it.
Oh, that could have been fantastically loud.
Yeah, that could have been really loud. They're making it to where they're doing this thing with their shows to where if you want to see the first show of the season, you have to pay to see it. Like you have to go and stream it online and pay like $10 to see the first show of the season.
Who the hell is gonna do that?
And I'm sure some people are, because they're doing it and they've done it before and they're doing it again. And to me, it's just like, dear goodness.
But there's this weird trend right now in like being super, like, unfriendly isn't a harsh enough word for what I'm describing here, towards your customers and audience. It's like, let's make this really inconvenient, Like, there's been a lot of backlash towards Disney about pulling all their stuff off Netflix and starting their own service. Like, yeah, because I want to spend another $10 to $15 a month on yet another service. No.
Yeah.
Please, anything but that. I'll pay $2 more a month for Netflix if you'll stay there.
Yeah. And honestly, it's... I think that what they did there is that they were viewing the benchmark statistics over how many people were watching their stuff in an online format,
and thought, "Holy shit, we can get all of these people to pay us."
Right.
And that's not what's going on.
And the problem with that is that Disney isn't gonna have enough content.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's
the only shows that they produce are like kiddie shows.
Yeah, I think that they would have had better luck if they'd have gone and become like one of the add-ons on Hulu.
Yeah. Like the HBO had on.
Yeah, like I can't
Showtime add-on.
I can't figure but those are $15 a month as add-ons, which I still think is too much.
It is too much.
I think I would feel like if it was $7, I would consider adding HBO to my Hulu. But to pay more for HBO than I do for my actual Hulu seems ridiculous,
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
And then you can add also, I guess, what is it, Showtime and Cinemax, same thing. But
so basically, gentle listeners, if you agree with us that all this stuff is bullshit,
don't pay for it. Please.
Don't pay for it.
Stand with us. Don't pay for it. Let them know this is bullshit.
Yeah, I mean...
Because,
I honestly...
here's what I think it is, to a certain extent, is they're trying to feel out the model. Because we're essentially getting what we asked for, with, buy channels one at a time, which people have been begging for from the cable and satellite TV companies forever. No one wants to buy a package with 500 channels and watch 3 of them and pay $100 a month for all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is starting to exist. You can buy HBO and Showtime and Cinemax, and it looks like you're going to be able to buy the Disney Channel by itself on the internet. But the price point's wrong, because I don't want to pay $100 a month for 4 channels. which is about what you'd be getting there. Or $90 a month, $60 a month. You know, if it's $15 a channel, for 4 channels, it's $60 a month. That's still more than I want to pay for 4 channels worth of television, right?
Yeah,
and if I think they're trying to feel it out right now, though. And if they're thinking, okay, maybe we can get this much and that'll be great. But the truth of the matter is, people are probably going to get tired of it and stop paying for it at some point. And the price point's probably going to land closer to $7 in my mind, 7.5, something in there, half of 15. Mm-hmm. You get into that point, then I don't mind, because I could probably get all the entertainment I want to see for $60. But I don't want to spend, at this point, to watch everything I want to watch. Like, say I'm into sports like most people are. So then you're buying yourself an ESPN Pass channel thing on the internet. HBO, Cinemax, the Disney Channel, and Stars. You're spending just as much on 5 channels as you did on an entire cable subscription, where you could veg out and watch the Home Shopping Network when you really got drunk and bored.
Well, and that's the thing about the ESPN, because, ESPN is actually owned by Disney.
Yeah.
So,
but it's still probably going to stand separate from the Disney vault.
Currently, no.
You think?
ESPN's losing money.
Huh.
And so right now, part of what Disney's announcement is that there will be special ESPN events that will only be found on their streaming service.
That's still basically consumer-unfriendly.
Do you know what that sounds like to me, though?
Mm-mm.
Like whenever, like in a entertainment sense, where they're like special ESPN events, it sounds like, oh, we're also going to start utilizing pay-per-view.
All right. Yeah, I think it's all going to either circle back around and people are going to be like, you know what, screw buying 7 different services. I'm just going to go back to paying for $100 a month. I'm going to go back to paying for cable, right?
Wouldn't that be fucked up if that was the entire plan?
It might be, but that's where it stands right now, is if you want to watch everything that you normally used to watch, you're going to be paying almost as much as you were before, and you're going to be paying it to 7 different places instead of 1.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of that, to me, I've gotten to where I've whittled down what I watch, I barely use some of the services I'm paying for and kind of wonder where I still do.
Yeah, like I've actually been debating axing my Hulu subscription.
Yeah, and I get on Netflix every once in a while and watch stuff, but sometimes I'll go a whole month without launching it. So why am I paying for it?
Yeah.
But then there's the time where, I finally get the flu and have to lay on my couch for a week, and then I really am happy I have Netflix and Hulu.
True.
Because, I watch a lot of times I'll just watch stuff on YouTube, but then the people I subscribe to don't put anything up that day on YouTube, and I'm back on Netflix. So, having at least one of them is really nice, but is it worth it to have 2? And I really don't see it worth having 3 or 4 different services. And we forget that if you have Amazon Prime, you have yet another almost entire viewing system and service that I forget I even own, because I use Amazon for everything else.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
But the movies, and there's tons of TV shows and movies on Amazon. And if you have Prime, tons of them are included in your subscription and are basically like having a different Netflix.
No, I completely agree. I think that what they're doing is just wrong. I don't think it's kind to their customers, and that's the same for HBO. I expect this from cable companies. Let me put it that way. And from a realistic point of view, I expect the same thing from Disney. They are a Fortune 20 company.
I didn't know this until I just started clicking. Go ahead, finish. And then
no, go ahead.
You can add tons of cable channels to your Amazon account.
Oh, yeah.
HBO, Stars, TLC, a bunch of other weird things that no one cares about. Cinemax.
So, yeah. So tell me this, Jake.
History Channel. Wow.
As we've delved into the world of bad ideas.
Right.
How jaded are you?
Today?
Yeah.
Like all at the same time?
All at the same time.
I'm like a 5. I'm right on the fulcrum.
You went down 2 knots.
Yeah, I can't remember what I was jaded about before.
I'm still at a 7.
Oh, well, that sucks.
I know. Today has not been kind to me with the smoke and the ash falling from the sky, threats of nuclear war.
Well, you know what? Right now is the perfect time to grab your GoPro and shoot a quick post-apocalyptic movie because ash falling from the sky, you're not going to get that for the cheap on your special effects budget.
That's true.
Knock out a few scenes, get that short film started.
You have a quote?
I don't.
I
do yours while I come up with one really quick.
I do. Craig Bruce is who this is from, and I think that this plays into specifically the Juicero. Nothing surpasses the beauty and elegance of a bad idea.
I have one, but I don't remember who said it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what'd you think of mine?
I really liked yours. That is good. Mine's in the same vein. I can't remember who said it, unfortunately, but it goes along the lines of, for every complex problem, there is an answer that is simple, straightforward, and wrong.
I completely agree. Completely.
Because that's the absolute truth.
Well, if you've enjoyed listening to us today, you can follow us on Twitter, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, places where all the fine podcasts are purveyed. Also, Podbean, new host. Yay.
Yeah, real nice host. If you want to send a comment to us, you can email us to proteuspodcast@gmail.com.
And yeah.
Oh, and if you really want to, you can follow us on Twitter to be updated when new podcasts are posted. And you even can watch us on YouTube. New pod episodes are finally being posted there as well.
Thank you, Podbean.
Thank you again, Podbean. Favorite new thing on the internet. Well then, with all that being said, I've been Jacob.
And I'm still Danielle.
And we have been the Proteus Podcast. Good night, everyone.